Hello, my friends in the film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. Did I just turn the music off like an idiot? Yes, I did. I clicked the wrong thing. That's what I get for getting way too far ahead of myself. What's going on, everybody? Are we actually live right now, or is my computer just gone completely retarded on me? Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I turned up. Wow, I misclicked everything. There's the background back. I mean, I could not have gotten off to a worse start. How is everybody today? I'm sorry, I've been out in the heat all damn day. My brain's only working about 25% capacity. But thankfully, I'm here with the full crew to go over this movie, Hitman, which is getting a lot of buzz. It was a fun movie, reminded me a lot of Grosse Pointe Blank, which is a movie that I want to get into at some point. I think Jeremy will take out of it. But here to talk about it with me is the Dowager Countess Lady Cora. How are you tonight, ma'am?
I'm great. I didn't run out of gas today. It's been a good day.
She even came up with a new sexy nickname for Tex.
This is going to be a fun one.
This is going to be a good one. And of course, my header life mate, Jeremy. What's up, brother?
Well, I'm also not enjoying the heat, but I don't know. That's just the way the punches roll, I suppose. I'm over here. I didn't really have anything for this, so I'm doing my best impression, or a very bad impression, of a critical drinker. I could never match that man's gravitas, because I'm definitely not sitting here drinking something, some nondescript beverage that doesn't rhyme with the word Pepsi. So, cheers.
Just go away now. We're not going to say it out loud because they're not actually sponsoring us. So, no, you don't get any airtime unless you give us some money.
Anyway, that's all I got. Get away now.
And the shape for Lone Star State. Oh, man, Tex. What's up, brother?
How are you, Tex? Tell me all about it.
Some people call me Tex. Others refer to me as Daddy. I won't say who and out there, but it's one of those things. No, I'm not having the best day, but as I watched this movie, I thought, maybe Glen Powell just got into the movie business to fool around with hot chicks. I mean, this one he gets a hottie. What's that other one he did with Sydney Sweeney? Like, he's just using this as an excuse to fool around with good-looking women. Pretty smart guy. I think he's onto something here. So.
And you wouldn't do that? Now, wait a minute, sir.
Oh, no. I'm not. No, I'm not cheating on him. I'm jealous. I'll be honest with you. Like, this guy's living the life over here. He gets to be a movie star, and, we're going to have to redo this scene 15 times because, we just keep messing it up, So, what you got to do?
But yeah, we are here to talk about Hitman, which is the 2023 American romantic black comedy film produced and directed by Richard Linklater, who wrote the screenplay with the star Glen Powell, based on a 2001 Texas Monthly magazine article by Skip Hollandsworth. The film stars Glen Powell, Adria Arjona. Wow, I butchered that name badly. Austin Amelio, and Retta, who I guess, I don't know, one-word names, I don't get it. And follows an undercover New Orleans police contractor who poses as a reliable hitman as he tries to save a woman in need. Hitman premiered at the 80th Venice International Film Festival on September 5th of last year and was released in select theaters in the United States on May 24th of this year before its streaming debut on Netflix on June 7th. The film did receive praise from critics. Netflix acquired distribution rights to the film for $20 million at TIFF, making it the largest film deal of the festival and of the year, with plans for a theatrical release as well. It was released in select theaters in the United States on May 24th before starting streaming on Netflix. The film made just over $1 million against a budget of $8.8 million, but received great reviews. On Rotten Tomatoes, 97% of 223 critics' reviews are positive, with an average rating of 8.1 out of 10. The website's consensus review reads, quote, "A deceptively dark thriller that's also loaded with laughs. Hitman is an outstanding showcase for leading man Glen Powell in one of the most purely entertaining films of Richard Linklater's career." I can't disagree too much with it. I thought it was a pretty solid movie. I'll go to you first, Cora. It is kind of a rom-com at its core, right up your alley. Give me some quick thoughts on what you thought of the movie.
It was all right. I mean, I don't know that I'd watch it again, but it's like a cross between Burn After Reading and like some like Mission Impossible, like disguisey, like parody / like sort of love story. It's all right. It was all right.
Tex, I can't wait to get some of your initial thoughts of this movie. I mean, again, not necessarily the kind of movie that you go in for, but there were some pretty decent performances, and I thought, what are your quick thoughts on Hitman?
I hear a lot of people praising this film. I'm not saying this is a bad movie. I'm saying this is a very confused movie. Like this goes from like straight up rom com to crime cop drama, back to rom com and back and forth. This thing's all over the place. Like there's a lot that's good in this, but I'm not. I mean, as I referred in our group chat, I said this is a fucking rom com. Like that was my first comment about this thing, and it's just, I don't know. We'll get into it more later.
Yeah, Jeremy, what do you think? I bring up Grosse Pointe Blank a lot with you because it was one of the '90s movies that I will allow you to gush over. But I mean, as I was watching this, I was kind of going back to that movie a lot because there was a lot of similar themes. What did you think of this movie in particular?
Well, yeah, this was, I mean, it's newer, but it was obviously a first watch for me. I hadn't heard of this or seen it. And yeah, it kind of took me by surprise. It drew me in, and I was kind of interested from the first part. As the cool kids say, they had us in the first half, or whatever they say. I don't know anymore. And I kind of agree with Tex. I'm like, it kind of seemed like, and then all of a sudden it just left turned into something else, and like the pacing was a little weird at first, and I was like confused. I'm like, wait, they're just talking. I mean, the dialogue was good. They had some long like Tarantino-esque type just dialogue, just back and forth. I'm like, okay, now the not building up your drama, building up your, I guess, lie on top of lie, and this whole thing boiling over. There was a couple parts where I was just like, wait, am I supposed to know who's that? Who's what? Oh, okay. So you did kill the husband. Okay. Right. Now, being that there was somebody from The Walking Dead in this show, I was like, okay, but I'm following The Walking Dead rules here. I'm like, I didn't see a body. Therefore, I remain unconvinced. That's just a hard thing to break. But I mean, if you just kind of, but overall, I mean, I did enjoy it. It was kind of a fun ride. It was just, holy crap, bonkers off the wall. And then at the end, I was just kind of like, so you just got away with it? We're just gonna be cool with that now?
Yeah.
Okay, a little weird. Sure, it was a fun ride for sure. But damn.
Yeah, like I said, I was watching this movie, and like in my head, I kept going back to Grosse Pointe Blank, which is a very similar kind of film. It's kind of a rom com about a hitman who ends up going back to his high school reunion, and some crazy shit happens. But I saw elements of that. And there was this definitely was I mean, if you would have told me this wasn't a Richard Linklater film, I would have guessed it kind of right away, because he's one of those people that has kind of a signature style about him, like kind of like a Tarantino or something like that. And this was definitely right up his alley. He loves stories that are based in Texas. I think he's from Austin. I think he was born in Austin. And the story that this was all based on was actually happened in Texas, but they ended up, for whatever reason, moving where this film was based in New Orleans. But yeah, it was kind of part artsy at times, but it wasn't so overdone that it took me out of the movie. I just loved that. For one, I liked the performances. I thought it was fantastic. It was a little. I could have stood a faster pace at times. There were some times where I feel like the movie kind of bogged itself down. And it's like, I know that you want to focus. I mean, look, let's face it. The whole focus of this thing was going to be Glen Powell, and that's fine by me. I think it worked out well at that point. But I think that there was some times where you could have given me a little bit more excitement and gone away from the rom-com and made it a bit more actiony, that kind of thing. But just enough to kind of pull everybody back in, and then to go back to the dialogue and the story and the characters and stuff like that. It got a little bogged down at times. Overall, it wasn't terrible. But let's talk about the films of Richard Linklater for a minute. I thought I had a thing with Richard Linklater, but I don't. That is most definitely not him. But
that I know.
Again, there's look. He's made one of my all-time favorite films in Days Confused. It's a coming of age movie. It's one of those great
fantastic films.
It's one of those great independent films from the '90s where independent films were bonkers good. So I will always sing the praises of Richard Linklater. I'll go to you first, Jeremy. I mean, he's everybody wants some. This movie, Dazed and Confused. He's done several. What do you think of Richard Linklater as a director?
I think one of your favorite movies came out in 1993, sir. But I digress.
I said that.
No, you did not. I was just, even if you did, I'm just making sure everybody heard that. Just for my own records. One that you did not mention that, I mean, I guess maybe it's just people in my age group and generation. The first thing I think of when I think of Richard Linklater is School of Rock with Jack Black. And I was sitting here like, I don't think I knew that until the credits rolled and I saw Richard Linklater. I'm like, the guy who made School of Rock made this? Oh shit. And and then I remembered, oh yeah, Dazed and Confused. So that's kind of where my mind went with that. He's made some good movies. Like I said, I can still, oh God, what, 20 years later now, I can still watch School of Rock and still enjoy it just as much, as the first day I watched it. So yeah, he makes some good films. And like I said, with that Tarantino style of like, there's just long bits of dialogue. It works. Like I said, like you said too, like there's some pacing that was kind of but the dude can make a movie. I won't lie.
Yeah, everybody wants something they say is like a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused because it takes place in the 80s as opposed to the 70s. And some things are different, but it's kind of like him kind of going after that 80s look the way he went after kind of the 70s feel of what it was like to be a teenager. I don't know, Tex, what about you? Richard Linklater, a Texas guy himself, has made some pretty interesting movies. I don't know how many of them you've seen. I mean, you probably have seen A Scanner Darkly. He was actually the director of that. That's kind of like borderline horror drama kind of thing. But I don't know. What do you think of Richard Linklater's, at least the job he did in this movie?
When it comes to Linklater, the only two that I can now, I may have seen more of his films, but the two that I know that I've seen were, of course, Dazed and Confused. That's one of the classics of all time. I mean, so many quotable lines that I can remember seeing that. That's one of those movies, like, I think everybody has probably seen a handful of times. School of Rock, I'm not a huge Jack Black guy, but how can you not like that film just for the music alone? Obviously, his style, Frank even alluded to it, at the beginning of this podcast. Like, he's got a style about him that even if you don't know really what if you're watching film and you're not sure if it's his or not, you can kind of tell it bleeds through well. But I've never heard of a sequel or a spiritual sequel for Dazed and Confused. But hey, Matthew McConaughey, I'm sure he'd be up for it. I mean, he's hanging around Austin somewhere. He's always hanging around Austin somewhere right now. The last I heard about him, he was talking about trying to run for the governor of Texas for the 15th time, which I won't be voting for him, but whatever, it's fine. So,
oh, come on. You don't want more Texas Chainsaw with him in it? Come on now.
No. He is Texan in name only. He's a little too lefty for my likings, but
he's anti-gun, and that's what Texas is like.
And there's two things. He's an Austin hippie and he's a Texas Longhorn fan. And being a hardcore Texas A&M Aggie, that is our dreaded rival. So Matthew McConaughey can go to hell.
He said, I can handle the liberal stuff, but I can't handle being a Longhorns fan.
Of all damn things.
Hey, you know what? Those two things go hand in hand. Austin, Texas is home of the Texas Longhorns. And it's a filthy, disgusting place. I don't even stop to pee in Austin, much less anything else.
But one thing about it is it's still in the state of Texas.
Texas is pretty damn big. You can just ignore it, though, to be fair. You don't have to ever go near it.
Once we start getting walls built around here, we're going to put one around Austin to contain all that California crap that's coming in there as well. So
make sure you have.
We're going to handle that.
Make sure you lock the gates inside so people can't get into Texas. Protect us from you.
Cora, what about you? I don't know how familiar you are with Linklater's work, but what do you think he did with this movie?
I think it was all right. It was good, and I have a feeling he worked very closely with Glen Powell in the writing aspect of it, and probably, even though he didn't get any credit, I'm guessing Glen Powell probably had a lot of helping him with the directing at times. Who knows? But I did see Dazed and Confused, but I don't think I've seen another thing of his until this. I looked at the list twice, and I couldn't say anything. I never saw School of Rock.
You haven't seen the School of Rock?
I have not.
I'm not a big Jack Black fan, but that movie's actually pretty fun.
I'm sorry to disappoint Jeremy, but I will watch it if we review it.
Cora, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. That's all I'm saying. It's a long, long way.
Do you need a lot of gas to get to the top?
You know what? I got a motherfucker. I swear to God.
I don't know what's wrong.
I love that all the stuff off camera like leaks in here and no one has any goddamn clue.
You're lucky.
Okay. Tex is having daddy issues today. Okay, it's all right.
Killing me. But this is kind of typical Rich. Like I said, he's got a bit of his own directorial style. He's kind of like the modern version of John Hughes, whereas John Hughes was a little more gushy, nostalgic view of young life. His, I think, is a bit more honest and grounded. It's not quite so fluffy. That's why I think when he does movies like Everybody Wants Some, he does Dazed Confused, things like that. I think that's why he did the Bad News Bears movie with Billy Bob Thornton, the remake that came out in 2005.
I saw that on the list, but I hadn't seen it. Is it good?
It's not really quite the same.
I didn't know he made that one. I like that one. That one's good.
Yeah,
I didn't know he made that.
It's not quite the same, but it was still pretty entertaining. But I mean, he does these movies very, very well. He also did that one movie that I never had a chance to watch. It wasn't quite a documentary. What was the name of it? Boyhood, where they basically filmed this kid growing up for like 8 or 10 years.
Yeah, like wasn't the one that went in real time or something?
Yeah, it basically edited into like a 2-hour movie, like his youth. A crazy concept, but I mean, if you have the patience to do some shit like that, that's a really interesting kind of approach. I think it's a fantastic. Again, Dazed and Confused is one of my favorite movies, and it's like that's one of the reasons why I love the coming of age movies, because movies like that are the kind of stuff that we've gotten from people like Richard Linklater, stuff like that. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, things like that. Those movies are good when they're done right. They're fantastic. Richard Linklater is one of the guys that's done them right. But I mean, let's talk about the cast again. There's two people primarily in this that really carry this movie. That, of course, is Glen Powell and I'm going to butcher her name again. Adria Arjona. Wow, that's a tough one. I don't know why, but I'll go to you first, Cora. I mean, what did you think of the cast, and who stood out to you the most?
Well, I have to say that Glen Powell's right up there with Ryan Reynolds in looks. So I very much enjoyed all his different characters, and costuming is part of his. It was fun. He's hot, and I really enjoyed looking at him. And he's a good actor too. I don't know any. I mean, I've seen this Retta, this Claudette. I've seen some of these people, Retta, and I've seen these people elsewhere, but I couldn't place them per se. I think they meshed well, for a nice little ensemble cast, because there were a lot of scenes where there's, especially with the cop force, they're all in a room together and all working well together. Good cast, but Glen Powell stands out for good reason for me.
Yeah, Tex, how about you? Glen Powell kind of runs this movie, but I mean, there was some other people involved, obviously. What did you think of the cast, and who stood out to you the most?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go. Well, Jeremy already knows where I'm headed with this one, but I have to go Jasper. I mean, Austin Amelio, Dwight from Walking Dead. Huh?
Oh, you're gonna fucking steal mine, yeah.
Where's my picture?
Steal you, motherfucker! I will. Whatever.
You want to get close to Dwight? I'll give you a fucking iron to the face.
Well, that's what I was fixing to say. Dwight, I mean, he gets cucked out by Negan and gets his face ironed in Walking Dead, and he gets Walmart bagged in this movie. I mean, the guy can't catch a break, man. He's got it rough going in Hollywood. But, yeah, I mean, it was kind of a little, like, the minute Jasper loses his job to Glen Powell's character, like, you can kind of tell, okay, eventually he's going to be the one that turns, but I liked watching his progression, and like the scene alone where him and Glen Powell, where they team up to go find the killer, right? He's like sniffing on the ground. He sniffs up to see, oh, I found the boyfriend. He kind of plays it off kind of funny like that. That was probably my favorite scene in the movie, not counting the hot woman partially or all the way naked, not counting those things. But yeah, I got to go.
Sorry you didn't get titties.
Yeah, we got some side boob, so there's something.
Jeremy, how about you? What do you think of the cast of the film and who stood out to you the most?
Yeah, I think the cast worked together pretty well. Like we said, they all had a pretty good chemistry. It's not like it was just, the two leads or maybe like a third person. Like all these people seemed to work together pretty well. Like we were talking about all the cops in the room together, even from like the chief and then like his two tech guys and then Austin Amelio and Glen Powell. But they all worked together pretty well. And that's what kept it going. As I was saying in the comments, I'm like, there were some things that kind of tripped me up where I was trying to maybe just like grasp, like, wait, what just happened? Oh, okay. And then I got back on track, but yeah, it all worked together pretty well. And yeah, I obviously, like I said, with the review of Devil's Rejects, I'm like, my hands are tied here. I have to go with somebody from The Walking Dead, and it's got to be Austin Amelio, like guy who plays Dwight. Like he's a pretty phenomenal actor, and he's always fun to just watch, whether he's getting his face burned and hacking zombies apart or, just going off the rails, like, and then dying, like being poisoned very slowly in the middle of a rant that he thinks he's going to get out of this thing with like $1 million and with his hush money. But no, he got a plastic bag over his head and he just kind of breathed deep. So yeah, he's always fun to watch. And like Tex was saying, that when he's taking Glen Powell out, you're kind of just like, is this guy like, does he know? Does he not know? And he plays that pretty well. We're like, I don't know, is he in on this or is he like just messing with him? Or like, oh, he knows, but so where are you going to go with that? You know what I mean? Like, is he really his friend or is he just messing with him? So yeah, Austin Amelio is always a win for me.
Yeah, I liked Austin Amelio. He's the only one in this movie that really had anything to do other than Glen Powell. It's like even the girl wasn't real. I mean, she was only she was only really significant for a couple of scenes. One like in the middle that kind of sets him off on his little personal journey, and then kind of at the end where you find out what you find out about her.
Well, she's a true supporting role. She's always the second fiddle in each scene. It seems like. But
the one now, like I said, this is essentially a one-man show for Glen Powell. I mean, this whole thing was centered around him, and that's fine. He did a great job. The one thing that gets me is who's the guy, the Mexican guy? Sanjay Rao is his name.
Oh, yeah, the guy that he trades pants with.
Yeah,
he's from there doing karate kicks.
You can really move in these. I love that. I love that.
I wanted him to be kind of like Dopinder from Deadpool. I wanted him to be like that kind of a little bit of comedy relief, kind of a buddy, but not really like part of it all. And he didn't. And then look, it's not what the movie called for. I get it. So it's not like a huge missed opportunity. But I was kind of hoping he would play that kind of a role. But yeah, I mean, the other cop, the one played by Austin Amelio, I thought he was an interesting foil. He's not a bad guy, but he's not exactly on his side either. So it was interesting, kind of like the predicaments that not even really a dirty cop, just kind of a dumb one. He's not dirty per se, but
he figured it out though, and he was kind of like,
opportunistic.
Look, we can all win here in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The one thing I did find weird.
Yeah.
The one thing I did find weird, like after he's dead, like all of a sudden he's a racist and a homophobe. Like we saw none of that in his character in the film.
That's one of the things about
that was
the
part
plot.
Of the story.
Well, I mean, they never really. I mean, they talked about like him beating up teenagers on camera.
Yeah.
But because there wasn't like a scene that showed it happening, that doesn't. I don't think what that was really registers anywhere. And I think that's kind of what he was talking about at the end. When they talk about like, oh, they found out,
So they're implying kind of like a George Floyd or situation or something of the sort.
Oh boy.
Well, they don't imply anything. They don't really give us any context.
Well, that's my point. It doesn't fit.
We hear them talk about him beating up teenagers on camera, and that's why he got sidelined in the beginning of the movie. But it's like there's no depth given. There's not even a couple pieces of dialogue that say, well, he beat up these teenagers because of this. It's just he beat up teenagers on camera. We never really see the video. We never get to see the context of it all. So at the end of it, when he's like, oh yeah, we just made him out, we just called him a racist, blah blah blah, and that's why everybody believed that he, did whatever he did to himself, and it was a suicide or whatever.
That was my biggest problem with it. Like, that doesn't, like, why do you need that line of dialogue? That doesn't, oh, well, he was a racist and a homophobe, so it's
maybe to
okay
make
if he's
people
dead.
believe it.
Like that was just like
they maybe accept it better. Yeah.
I don't know. It was like that felt very shoehorned in, like kind of.
There's
I don't know.
a character. There's a thing about his character that he's kind of an asshole. I mean, because they make it very clear in the course of the movie that while he may not be a bad guy, a lot of people don't like him. He's just not very personable. So that's why when he dies at the end of the movie, it's like we're going to say all these terrible things about him because people want to believe that he's an asshole. So we're going to say these terrible things and that he killed himself or whatever.
Yeah, fucking
but the two people that are going to make up bad things about him, one shot her husband, and the other one put a grocery bag over the guy's head to kill him. So the bad guys are going to say, "Oh, this guy's actually the bad guy, but we actually did bad things." You know, kind of a moral weird spot. But, whatever. It is what it is.
But yeah, I don't know. I get it, but like I said, a little bit more context, like at least like a clip of that video where because it says that he was on video beating up teenagers. So at least seeing some of that in the background or maybe a flashback or something would have helped.
You can see like a newsreel or something. You see him just like decking one of these kids in the mouth or something.
Or seeing one of the main characters watching the video of it, going, "What the fuck? How did he do
it?" Like held up his phone, like, "Oh, you know how many like the millions of people that have seen this video?" I'm like, "Who's seen it? We haven't."
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, he plays kind of the asshole. Like whenever he's talking to his boss, he goes, "Well, hey, boss, I clean toilets pretty well too, right?" You know, whatever. Like whenever he's talking about his job within the precinct. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to say he was the asshole after he's dead, fine. That fits. But going racial and homophobic with him, like they showed nothing about that in the entire film, and for that to be tagged onto it, that was just like, and from two people who just murdered somebody. Like, so you're a murderer, but you. The guy that you killed, you're now going to say he was worse for something we have not seen for the entire film. Just plot-wise, it just kind of comes out of nowhere. I don't know.
No, you're right. You're right.
But let's go on to the plot now. Jeremy, what do you think of the overall plot of the film? It's an interesting one. Part comedy, part serious, part kind of... It is interesting kind of this character journey. What do you think of the plot of the movie?
Yeah, it was an interesting concept. Like I said from the beginning, when it started, I was kind of like, I like that, all of a sudden he's just thrown into this, we're doing this now. Like, fuck it, we're doing it live, and you got to go in there and make with that slide, just for a second, I like that, like, oh yeah, we're throwing in like some psychological stuff into this, but I was like, what in the fucking Indiana Jones are we doing? Like by day he's this teacher and all of a sudden he's this whip cracking like fucking hitman. I'm like, what? Really? Sure. Whatever. That's not the weirdest thing in this movie where like, yeah, he teaches, but then he also is kind of not really a informant kind of.
2 words, Breaking Bad.
I haven't seen Breaking Bad.
He's a teacher, but he also is a meth.
Okay, but he doesn't like. I mean, he kind of falls into that's different than making meth. He actually made meth. He didn't kill anybody. Remember?
Oh,
the end, apparently.
Well,
I don't know. I haven't seen the show. I can't
that changes. That changes.
His brother-in-law kind of has a bad ending, but
I've heard it's a phenomenal show, but I mean, 2 of the juggernaut fucking shows on AMC were Walking Dead and Breaking Bad. And I'm sorry, I picked
have you not watched Breaking Bad?
Whoa! You have to include Mad Men in that shit. Mad Men is better than both of those.
Okay, fine. There were 3 lanes on this fucking highway, and I chose one. Is what I'm saying. My point still remains.
Yes, it does.
But it's not to say that I don't understand those shows are good, and I still need to watch them. But like, I was more invested in one than the other.
No. And to be fair, Walking Dead was a very mesmerizing, enchanting show with the way they made it. It was very captivating to watch that show.
Well, and speaking of that, rounding back to my point where I was like, oh, this guy I can appreciate that he knows how to, get into a psyche of not only like this character, and I think it was Austin Amelio's character that said like, you got to make them believe it. Like you can believe it, but you got to make this other person believe it. Mm-hmm. So then he like starts getting into like doing he breaks out like prosthetics and makeup and all kinds of shit. And I'm like, see, that's cool. Again, here's my little douchebag moment where I'm like, I'm an actor myself. So I kind of appreciated that angle. I'm like, I get it. You got to steep into that thing. And again, you got to make the people you're doing this for believe it. And I thought that was kind of cool that he was just suddenly a natural. And like, that's the thing is you got to go wild. Like when they're talking in the van, like, who even thinks of cutting people's fingers off and lead them like 5 miles apart, one each at a time? Like what? Like,
yeah.
You say some bonkers off the wall stuff and like people are listening to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And of course the thing where he's like talking to his ex-wife or whoever, like, oh yeah, you got to find a girl. And then sure as shit, the next scene, he's talking to some girl wanting to kill her husband. I'm like, is that her? Is that the girl? He's going to break protocol.
That was a perfectly placed line of dialogue to tie in, Yeah, it was pretty well placed. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, there it is. Okay. And it just kind of spirals down this whole, let this be a lesson, kids. This is why if you're going to tell lies, I mean, do it, correctly, because, and maybe not something to this degree, because then you have to start talking lies on top of lies, and then you're going to have to put a bag on someone's head and just watch them die. So,
as you go down on a girl,
look, I'm not gonna, their whole thing is built on a farce that, like, he kills people anyway. So whatever, get your rocks off. Just maybe you could have waited until the body got cold.
Literally.
God. I was like, right now, guys. Like right now, you could have maybe like moved him out. That's gonna start getting like really.
Or
weird.
walked out of the room. Like, how the fuck are they turned on right now? Like.
I get it, but I'm like, maybe not immediately after. Jesus,
or not in front of him.
I don't think he could see. So I mean, maybe he wasn't.
No, but they could see him.
They were too busy. Yeah, Thurman does suck. I lost my fucking line.
Rehearsal love you guys. Thurman sucks. That's all we need. We can end the show right now. That's a perfect comment. I love it.
They were.
What's up, man?
They were too busy signing contracts to notice that there was a man dying on the middle of her floor. So.
I had my feelings about that.
It was fun, like watching it build over, and of course, I'm like, oh, this is all going to come to fruition. Like someone's going to do something stupid, and then it's going to have to, he's sitting there like yelling at her, like showing her a text, like, hey, listen to me. I mean, that was kind of a fun scene.
Yep. I don't know. Tex, what do you think of the plot?
I thought this thing was all over the place. Like 1 minute he's a history teacher, the next he's talking to his ex-wife who's knocked up by somebody else, and oh, you need to talk to somebody. Oh, well, a therapist? No, you need to find a girl. Because we're in a stupid romantic comedy, and then we're in a murder mystery, and he's a James Bond spy dude who's a redneck with a neck tattoo, and then he's Russian, and he's this movie doesn't know what it wants to be. I get it.
Patrick Bateman. Oh my God, he did that so good. By the way,
yeah, he went from
skin and the hair.
He went from American Psycho to Russian to redneck to like all this whole thing. Like it couldn't pick a lane to go in, so it just went into all of it.
You can't just be the same guy.
Yeah. No, I get what he was doing. It made sense to me.
Yeah. It made sense to me.
Well, no. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. Obviously, I get the different personas. I'm just using that as one of my examples. I'm saying the overall film did not know what it wanted to be. The pacing of this thing was weird. Like, how do we go from talking to a ex-wife pregnant woman about I need to find a girl to now I'm killing cops and but somehow I'm the good guy? Like, how did we get from A to F here? This makes no sense.
Well, the movie's only an hour and a half long, so things have to progress quite quickly. You didn't make a 3 hour.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This thing was like an hour 55, and I'm like, I got bored as hell in this movie. I'll be real honest.
Wow.
It was. I did not like this one. I mean, it's no secret. I'm not.
Maybe you just don't get it.
Yeah.
I need my Joker.
No, that's fine. Maybe I'm not.
You wouldn't get it.
And if I don't get it, that's cool. That's fine. Whatever. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But it's just I think this thing was all over the place. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know anything about the back. I'm sure the real story of this guy is vastly different, and this was more of a inspired by tale. Hell, you probably have some, factoids and trivia that you're going to get to at some point in this episode about this, Frank.
I hope so.
But I did not like this one. It was, I don't know. I wasn't a fan.
Cora, have I got you yet? What do you think of the plot?
I liked it. It reminds me of a Woody Allen movie in a lot of ways. In a good way. And I liked it. It just kind of was. It's not the normal movie model, and it didn't bore me. It was interesting. It is exciting without being like some action movie that you had to have these dramatic highs and lows with. It just was kind of just, it was a slow ride to figure out what was going on. And at the end of the movie, I felt good about it. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
The Woody Allen, that's an interesting comparison because he was always known as, a lot of his movies felt very manic, but they were also kind of contained at the same time. He always kind of controlled the chaos to tell the story. That's always been one of his kind of directorial things. But I was kind of with everything. I got a little sideways in the third act because I get it. He's just this guy. He's very boring. I mean, that's what the whole scene with his pregnant ex-girlfriend was about. It's like he's not that's why she has that conversation with him. That's explaining to the person who's watching the movie that he's boring and that he's not a bad guy. He's just a dull guy. And so immediately thereafter in the movie, he gets this opportunity to not be so dull when, shit pops off and, dude gets suspended and he has to go in, which would never happen in real life, but, I digress. But he has to go in and pretend to be the hitman. And this avenue just kind of opens itself up to him because he's also not dumb. He's pretty smart and he's analytical. That's the whole point of who he is, like in his regular life, being a psychology professor. And he's also very analytical. He kind of sees this opportunity and wants to take advantage of it. And that's why he goes into it like head first, doing all the research into these people that he's supposed to be trying to get them to say that they want to have their whoever killed. It's like putting the research into the different disguises. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. He's an academic. And he approached it very academically. It's
like letting the water boy who's been on the sidelines for seasons and seasons, who studied the quarterback or the running back or whatever, get a shot out on a play. And he's watched so much of it, he just knows it so well, he just fucking aces it. Yeah, so I dug it up. But like I said, the third act, some things kind of got to me. Number one is they really could have put some mystery into who killed her husband. It's like as soon as they described how it was, I'm like, there's only one other person in this movie other than him, and we know he didn't do it, that would have done it that way. I was like, there was no mystery. It would have been funner. I think it would have been a better reveal. Because they didn't even need the reveal. I mean, we all know it was her, but it would have been a better reveal if they were having a conversation about it and she accidentally let something slip, and like she was trying to hide it from him too, for whatever her reasons could have been to protect him or that kind of or whatever. But yeah, that reveal was not done very well. And of course, somebody must have said his name 3 times. There he is. But but the other thing that got me was, the other thing that got me was the ending. There was something very Dexter about the ending. And we all know that the ending of Dexter was just awful. You mean the second one or the first one?
I'm sorry.
Both of them first shot.
No, I disagree.
Both of them were horrible.
The second one was completely Shakespearean and perfect.
I'm sorry. There are 4 lanes on this highway. My bad.
Yeah, but
son killing the father. Come on.
There was something very Dexter about the ending of this that I wasn't really fond of. Like I said, it was kind of anticlimactic because they didn't. It's like I was thinking to myself, I'm like, at the end of the movie, they're married, they have kids, they live in the house, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, you are both murderers, and you've built this white picket fence life on this, and it's supposed to be, you're painting it like it's okay. I would think it would be more honest if they were conflicted about it a little bit. But it seemed like they were so happy that they killed a cop. Yeah, granted, he was an asshole and he was a dirty cop. If you want to, there's a case to be made for that. But you killed another human being. You killed a cop. That's the base. That's one of the foundations that your relationship was built on. Those things generally are not considered.
Fuck, they were
positive.
trading vows as he's dying.
Yeah, I was like, I don't. That's weird. But again, it's a dark comedy though, so I mean, it kind of fits the fact that it's a dark comedy. But I mean, whatever. I got in the context of the film, but there was something about it that was very Dexter to me.
He even said to her, like, you seem like weirdly fucking okay right now for the fact that you just killed your husband, even though he was a dick.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
and
you both just seem okay with this now. I'm like, nothing else came of this?
Yeah, that's one of the things that gets me. It's like, was the husband abusive or was he just like controlling and strict? Because not that either one of those things is a good quality to have in a mate.
Might have been,
but I
kind
mean,
of insecure and controlling.
But I mean, she obviously she just got up and left him at some point over the course of the movie. So maybe he wasn't necessarily abusive.
Maybe
and it was easy enough for her to get up and walk away. Maybe he didn't really need to die. Maybe
I think what my confusion then maybe I was reading too much into it. And for some reason, because she came to him wanting to kill the husband, and then of course he unknowingly came to the same guy to get rid of her. And I was thinking like too deep into it. I'm like, wait, are they like both in on it? My whole time is I'm like, that would be an insane fucking plan if like the wife was like, they were gonna do this to get this guy, to get Glen Powell's character, like get him killed or something. That's a right there,
I did have that thought, Jeremy, that she and her husband were in on the attempt on his life for the insurance for a second.
I'm like, that seemed a little too fucking convenient and easy. And they were even starting to play with that when they're having that ice cream date when Austin Amelio comes in and interrupts them. I was like, yeah, are we going to address that? That seemed really just way too easy and just happened like really conveniently. And they're like, she's like, oh, look, your friend happened to show up. I'm like, oh, so that's your explanation. We're talking about it, really? That's where I was confused, and I was like, "Oh, that really was just." Maybe it felt a little underwhelming because when I was maybe thinking that would happen, and I was like, "That would be off the wall. That'd be insane." And then that wasn't the case, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I was still in and with the story, but I was just maybe putting too much into it because I mean, you know what? I guess if you subverted my expectations, because I'm like, I've said it. We've all seen the same 3 movies that have been made a million times over the past, since Hollywood's been a thing. So maybe then the fact that I thought I was predicting something didn't happen, maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, the one thing
that's what I was going to... Oh, go ahead.
Well, the one thing I did like at the end was him talking about finding the perfect mixture of Ron and Gary.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because that balance in life is really what you're looking for. I mean, because you can be too much of one thing and it can kind of hold you back as a person. But finding that balance in life, that's and I think that was kind of ultimately what his whole journey was about in this movie. Was he couldn't just be Gary, because Gary wasn't, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't significant. And then Ron was the more outlandish, outgoing extrovert. And it was like you have to have the balance of things, of those qualities. And he finally finds it at the end, which I was kind of happy with, because I was like, because that was kind of his whole character journey anyway. Was, being that nerd guy who just, fixes up the wires for the guy going in and, trying to bust these people, to having to be the guy. Those are two totally different mindsets, two totally different skill sets that don't always exist in the same person. So him kind of making that transition was kind of one of the things that drives the film to begin with. So I got it. I really like the fact that he mentioned that too.
Kind of had like a Fight Club kind of feel to it, where it's like you have the narrator who's just like this dull, boring guy. Then you have Tyler Durden, who's like this outlandish, like crazy dude, but it happens to still reside. Sorry if anyone hasn't seen the spoilers, it's the same person. But if you haven't seen that,
no.
hey, I don't want to ruin Fight Club, because I mean, I'm not supposed to talk about it. But
we don't talk. We don't talk about it. Talk about it.
But if you know, that's what it kind of felt like to me. And then it blows up into this whole huge thing where you're just. I mean, that's the same kind of sentiment, right? At the end, where it's like, you had a really weird time in my life, and we're going to hold hands while the city just fucking burns in front of us. After having tried to shoot yourself in the mouth to try and get rid of this guy that doesn't actually exist in your own psyche, but okay. Fight Club's a good movie. Go watch it.
Yeah, one
better movie than this one.
At some point. Objectively,
but hey, anytime I got to see Jared Leto get the shit beat out of him, I said what I said.
His name was Robert Paul.
I love your music, but like, man.
Hey, Jared Leto's a pretty good actor. Don't shit on him. He's done a couple of good roles.
He was amazing in My So-Called Life. That's all I'm gonna say.
He's done some cool shit. I'm just saying, I don't think we want to talk about, that movie.
Which one?
I'm actually drawing a blank. What was that fucking movie you just did?
Hey, as Jared Leto, as
Morbius
Joker says.
Morbius.
Oh, Morbius is terrible.
Everybody lays an egg every once in a while.
Don't ever send a Robin to do
more
a
than once.
Batman's
There was
job.
that Joker.
To quote his Joker. So,
Thank you, Tex. Well said.
But there wasn't a whole lot of trivia about this movie, which is not entirely surprising because it's a relatively small production and it's pretty new. But let's get into some of the trivia now. Let's see. I don't know if you guys realize or not. This was all inspired by a true story. This was actually, as I said, it was written in. Let me find my notes right here. I lost it somewhere. It was written in Texas Monthly Magazine in 2001, an article by Skip Hollandsworth. This
At
whole
the end of the
thing
movie,
was
you
actually
see
based
pictures
on
of the real guy in his disguises. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. And also, the teenager who giving Johnson video games to kill his mom is based on an actual client meeting the real life Gary Johnson had during a sting.
That person
Houston
grew up to be one Casey Israel. He is still collecting video games to this day.
A Houston teenager named Sean Quinn, a brilliant kid with an IQ of 131, gave Johnson 7 Atari computer games, $3 bills, and $2.30 in nickels and dimes to kill a male classmate he thought was trying to win the affection of a girl that he liked.
That sounds about right. Honestly.
Good God.
Isn't that kind of the scary part, though? That like this kid was actually super fucking intelligent. Like that's kind of the scary part. That he's like, I'm gonna just give you all my Atari games and my pocket change and go kill this guy.
You know how much those Atari games might be worth today, though?
Well, actually, that's probably
not knowing.
That's probably not Casey. Because there's no way he's parting with video games. Like he'd rather cut his arm off than give those things up. So it probably wasn't him. I probably told a lie. So it's fine. What are you gonna do?
It's all in fun. It's all good.
Let's see. The original story actually takes place in Houston. Since the real life Gary Johnson was based in Houston, but due to Texas tax credits and other financial elements, they weren't able to shoot the film in Texas and instead chose to set the film in New Orleans.
I don't know if it's really a
Houston,
story, but it works.
Houston has the maybe worst traffic in the state of Texas. So I could see it setting off somebody to want somebody murdered. I can understand that part. Because just drive through that city, drive through Houston one time in the summer, and you'll want to wipe out the whole population. I get it. It makes a lot of sense. So.
Is it that bad?
Oh, it's bad. Drive down
LA traffic. LA traffic is really bad.
That's probably really bad too.
It doesn't matter what time of day.
Atlanta once. Atlanta was fucking bad too.
Yeah,
if you ever drive through Houston or Austin, it doesn't matter what time of day, traffic will be dead stop for some ungodly reason. Who knows why?
You know, it's probably because some guy ran out of gas and he's holding up the highway.
Oh, I'm calling the hitman.
Oh my god!
We couldn't even see that. If anybody has the number for a hitman in Vegas, you let me know. I've got business for him. That's it.
You can't even threaten Corey. You're gonna be stuck in the traffic.
Here's your hitman right here, and he's good looking, so you know she's gonna fall for him right away.
I'm gonna get all my.
Do you know what I'm gonna get Tex for Christmas? I'm gonna get him a gift card for Texaco.
I'm gonna pay some hitman all of my horror DVDs. Be like, hey, there's this witch out in Vegas that needs to be dealt with, so we're gonna need to work the trade here.
I know. Text even better. I'm gonna put it in a stocking that says "Daddy" on it.
Oh, there we go. I like it.
Sorry.
Let's see. Where are we? Unfortunately, the real life Gary Johnson, passed away early on in production and never got to see the film. Richard Linklater only got a chance to talk to him on the phone and never got a chance to meet him in person.
Well,
you didn't get to go to set while they were making it? That sucks.
Maybe he was old.
Well,
You know, I have not been able to pull up a lot about like the real Gary Johnson. I tried to go in like a little quick like Wikipedia search, and there's not even an article on him, which is kind of odd. I mean, look, it's Wikipedia. I know it's not exactly the Encyclopedia Britannica, but yeah, I mean, other than finding a couple of dumb websites and some stuff that was mostly about the movie, there wasn't really much about him. So I'm kind of thinking I may have to find the copy of this article that was written about him. And try to get more about him that way. It was really weird.
See if I can look for it or something.
But that article actually, like I said earlier, this movie is based on a long-form narrative article written by Skip Hollandsworth, published in Texas Monthly in October of 2001. This marks the second time that Linklater has made a movie based on a Texas Monthly article by Hollandsworth. The first time was Bernie in 2011 about the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme.
Oh, okay, yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but I've been wanting to.
Sure.
Another one with Jack Black. Dude, Glen Powell's happening. Glen Powell's happening, son.
Hey, Glen Powell is that's one positive thing I will say about this film is it showed the range of Glen Powell. I mean, he goes from like when you see like the first time he's meeting somebody as the hitman he's talking to the guy at the table. It was like, okay, this dude could be like Batman or something. And then you see him like as the history professor, like, oh, well, he's just you really got to see his range in this film. And I mean, obviously, we know the guy's talented. We've seen him do. I mean, hell, he was probably the best thing about Top Gun Maverick, and that was an awesome movie. I mean, he looked, from what I've seen in Twisters, he looks like he's going to be cool in that. So, we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of this dude. I don't know if he gets to now. Do y'all think he gets to Chris Pratt level, like where he's in everything in the future, or not?
He's kind of on his way there already. If he's not pretty much.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, is it inevitable? Like,
next Mario movie,
right?
Let him be Waluigi.
I don't know.
Shit. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be great.
Mario. Yeah.
So who signs him first, the MCU or the DCU?
I've already seen castings of him as Booster Gold. Now, who knows? Now, he would make a perfect Booster Gold as the comedy guy. But I don't know. I could also see him as a good Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Either way, I could go with.
That would be cool.
Now, I don't know if he has the acrobatic skills to be a Nightwing, Dick Grayson. But if they wanted to do a slightly older Batman, he'd be a perfect Nightwing if he can pull off the acrobat stuff. But I don't know. One of those three roles I would go with.
I'm gonna have a good picture of this next one. Let's go with this one. Let's see. One of the personas that Gary Johnson plays when meeting a client is based on Patrick Bateman, played by Christian Bale in American Psycho in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Powell actually had a brief role as Trader Number One, the stockbroker hit by Bane, in The Dark Knight Rises in 2012, where Bale also played Batman.
Yep.
I did not catch that one. I did not realize he had been acting for that long.
I was looking for him. But
I feel like Glen Powell. Like,
did you know he was?
The last, like, 4 or 5 years.
He acted as a kid in the Spy Kids 3 movie. Just saying.
First time I ever saw him was Dark Knight Rises. That's the first time I ever noticed him.
Wait, which kid was he in that?
I don't remember which one, but I know he was.
One of the kids that they met in the video game?
Oh, no,
Fuck if I know, but I know he was one of them.
No, you're fucking with me. Hold on.
I'm not fucking with you.
No, I just
I've never seen.
He played the long-fingered boy.
That
What?
doesn't help me.
I don't know. That's what the credit is.
I've seen just about everything.
I see it now. That doesn't help me.
I've seen everything Robert Rodriguez has done besides Spy Kids. So
you didn't notice him in that? Fuck you.
Never cared for Spy Kids.
Let me see if I can find a picture for you.
I'm pulling up his.
I'm already looking.
His stuff right now.
Oh, here he is. Oh, yeah. He's the one with the funny crown on his head. If you put Glen Powell Spy Kids in image search, you see it. He's got a.
Oh no, he was the one in the mech fight. Yeah, the one that like gave him the.
There you go.
Okay, nice. Oh, I know what you mean by the long. Yeah, I forgot that movie was in 3D, and he like just real quick, just like towards the camera.
That's just what they credited him with. I didn't remember.
Well, he didn't really have.
Yeah.
He was in it for like fucking 30 seconds. So, wow, that's insane. That's a deep cut right there. That's crazy. Okay. Anyway, I mean, on my things of bingo cards for anything that came out of Spy Kids, I mean, I wasn't expecting, the sister to be the young Joe Harding from Twister, and I didn't expect Junie to marry fucking Meghan Trainor, but here we are in the world. I'm just saying. Whatever.
But yeah, I wish I had more trivia about this, but the reality is it was a relatively small production, so really isn't much that they have on this on the trivia stuff. But I mean, that seems like a good enough place to kind of wrap this one up. Not a very long review, but I mean a fairly decent movie, I guess. I'll start with you, Jeremy. Give me some of your final thoughts on Hitman.
Yeah, like I say, it was a fun movie. There was only a few hangups for me that I kind of lost it for a second, but once it started going, it was hitting the ground. It was starting to boil over.
Lose Frank?
I don't. Oh, did we lose Frank? I was like closing my eyes.
You know what? He ran out of gas. He went to go walk to the gas station.
Yeah. Hey, it didn't happen to Tex this time. It happened to Frank. That's insane.
I'm
good because we lost the guy holding the control, so now we're.
I need a Las Vegas phone book. I'm going to start looking.
They don't make phone books anymore. I'm so sorry to tell you that.
Oh no, I already said something about a payphone like a week or two ago. I was like, oh, that's right, I don't have payphones anymore.
The most you could probably get is a phone charger somewhere, so you can plug your phone in when the battery's dead.
You can insert that GIF of Thanos saying, "Fine, I'll do it myself." As I grab my Infinity Gauntlet, I'm headed to Vegas. That's it.
I think I'm going to Oregon for a couple of weeks. I'll see y'all later.
The only thing I'm going to need is a grocery bag that says "Thank you" on the outside of it. The rest will fall into place. It'll be great.
Tex shows up at your house offering you like beer and a good time. Like, hey, you want to hang out, Cora? Don't take the beer. Don't take the beer.
That was a good touch. We're even now. Good times.
I don't even know. Hold on. I mean, he can probably get back in here. I just don't know what to say. Well, cool. I guess I'll hijack the show again.
Well, I didn't talk about my final points of the show of the movie.
I was like in the middle of.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Cora. I'll go after you.
Jeremy's still talking.
I was.
Is he?
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't realize we lost Frank. That was weird. Now that the inmates are running the asylum, like I said, I liked the movie. And what was I? Oh, once it got going, it really got going, and then the ending was a little. I guess that was kind of dark comedy, and it was a little weird, but okay. I mean, the ride was still a fun time. So I'm tagging Cora in now.
Okay, I would say I'm glad I watched it. It's not physical media collection worthy, but it was a good watch. I'm glad I saw it. I might watch it again someday, but I would not be surprised if there had been an epilogue where she had killed him 5 years later.
I was really wondering. I'm like, this might be kind of a dangerous arrangement. Like, one of them might kill each other at some point. I don't know. I don't know if I trust that.
That's one of the things I was like, huh.
Weird. Something went wrong on StreamYard on my end. That was really weird.
Interesting.
It's got like a white screen.
No, we didn't. Yeah, it's fine.
StreamYard was like, screw you. But anyway.
All right, I got you some more subscribers in like the 10 minutes that we ran the show. Okay.
I almost said something like, "Oh, he's gone. We'll get more subs," but I didn't. I didn't go there. I think I picked on Tex too much already.
The show for a second.
So, Tex, give me some of your final thoughts on Hitman.
I will fly on Miranda Airlines anytime she wants me to. You just let me know. I'm going right down the. I'm headed right down there.
I don't know what
Glen
you're talking
Powell's
about. I don't live in Vegas anymore. I moved to California, the state you say you'll never step in again.
No,
Get a way to hide. Yeah.
this movie's all over the place for me. It does it want to be a murder thriller rom-com? The bad guys are planting evidence. Oh, he's a blah blah blah. But we now have a white picket fence and family, and now we're good guys because we murdered a cop. But hey, okay, whatever.
We're Bonnie and Clyde ending in.
I would not have watched this if it was not for review purposes. I will never watch it again, and it will be deleted from my memory bank and replaced with whatever.
What if they made a horror version of this?
That would be better. That would be better if he just went full on American Psycho. But no, Glenn, the best thing about this film was, like I said a minute ago, the range of Glen Powell. It showed what he could do on a vast variety of, franchises and things. But other than that, there's really no redeemable value for me in this movie. So, pass.
Corey, how about you? Give
Fair
me your final thoughts on
enough.
Hitman.
Do you think it should have ended with her killing him?
That would have been wild.
I think it would have been a better ending.
I just want to see how they got rid of the body. There's so many in it. Seriously,
you don't watch it. Then they said how they're going to do it. They're going to put him in a car at a shitty part of town with a bag over his head.
But I want to see the
hills on the side.
You see him dropping.
If this is Dexter,
or whatever down the road.
The good thing about Dexter was they showed you how Dexter did stuff. I want to see how they get the body out of the house. Do they put it in it, like a rug, like in the old movies, and throw it in the trunk and then drive him out of town and leave his car at the airport? They did a lot of show, or they didn't do much show, but they did a lot of tell, which is not what you're supposed to do in a visual format.
I wanted to see the wedding and have them ring each other when they say their vows. No, when they're after the wedding.
We saw their wedding right there in where after they murdered Jasper. But
they had a wedding and they consummated that fucker real fast.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, there is no way that she does not murder him at some. There's no way that woman does not murder him at some point in the future. Like the first time she gets mad at him, you're like, "Yep, he's dying tonight." There's no way he's making it to tomorrow. But, whatever. She's a Black Widow if I've ever saw one.
What's that old saying? It's like two people can only keep a secret if one of them's dead.
Yeah,
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Does the New Orleans police force just find one of their guys? Oh, well, he was a racist and he was a homophobe, so we're not going to research this death whatsoever. And they just go whistling right past the graveyard and on to the next thing.
We don't know.
So many plot holes here. So many plot holes. But whatever.
It is what it is. But it was great to hear what you think about it, Tex.
For me, this was a Netflix quality movie. Something that I would have never paid for in person.
By the way,
well, this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is a streaming movie. There's a reason why it only made $1 million, I think, because it's.
Well, they did. It wasn't a wide release. They put out.
No, I hear you. It's,
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I get it.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think there was only really one point to this movie, and that was they wanted to put Glen Powell out there and just let him carry a movie.
Yeah,
I mean, because he didn't.
Would you watch it again, Jeremy? Would you? I don't know. I don't think I would.
Because he wasn't the main character in Top Gun. He was a supporting character, a good, entertaining one, but he wasn't the main character. He is going to be that in Twisters. But I feel like this is probably kind of the.
He's on the up.
He was on testing the waters. I mean, look, he's been on the come up for a while now. He hasn't really carried a movie himself. I mean, Twisters again coming out next month, but it's like probably best to kind of soften the ground a little bit by letting him do something like this. And I think in that it probably did it. It probably did a trick. I mean, look, it definitely displayed that he has some good range. He can carry a film. Now, this is not the biggest film in the world like Twisters is going to be, but he can carry a film. He's a great actor. I mean, look,
are we still alive?
As far as I know, yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, looks like it. But Yeah, it's as far as I can tell. I mean, this guy,
What's
this
happening?
guy can really fucking act. So I'm not. So that's kind of the whole point of this movie is that they were trying to put him over, to use the wrestling parlay. So, and I think this movie kind of does that. So now we're gonna walk into the theater to see Twisters with Glen Powell in the brain, because we know that his performances are going to be good. Outside of that, I mean, this movie was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't great. It didn't blow me away. It was, I mean, like I said, the third act, it kind of gets a little wonky for me at the end. I'll probably give this another watch just to see if there's something that didn't hit me the right way the first time. But I mean, it's not bad. I mean, again, I think Tex is right. This was a Netflix production, essentially. I mean, it was probably done for streaming. I don't imagine they made this thinking that somebody was going to buy it and really put it out in wide release. I do think they should have put it out in a wider release than what they did, but they did not. So I don't understand why they would pay $8 million for a movie to release it for like a weekend in 27 theaters and then not try to. Well, this is why Netflix is having problems. It's just not very smart.
What about this movie? What made this movie cost $8 million? There's not a bunch of huge stars getting a big paycheck. It's not effects heavy.
The movie didn't cost $8 million. Netflix paid $8 million for the rights to it after it showed it.
Okay, switching to say, if they paid if this movie cost $8 million to make, I would be really, really surprised. Because I mean, Glen Powell's a rising star, yes, but he hasn't earned the gigantic Tom Cruise, level paycheck yet. He's not Robert Downey Jr. or anything. But it's like there's not even like any like.
We'll know.
Well, we'll see. But like when this was made, like there's no reason why this movie should have cost more than barely anything to make, because it's all shot just work, I guess in New Orleans or wherever, and there's nothing to it. I mean, I don't know, it's crazy.
Come on, next month he's about to put on some big white ass fucking cowboy hat and yeehaw so hard all over this movie. Tex is gonna have a boner the whole goddamn time he's watching it.
Hey,
he's singing his damn praises when we watch that movie.
Jeremy, you will finally get your opportunity to get me back for calling your people the emo goth people. You'll get to use the your people on my yeehaw people, so you'll be able to get me back. So,
do you know what's great about this movie, Tex? It's digital. It's on Netflix. You can watch it on your phone when you run out of gas and you're on the side of the road and you got to wait for somebody to come help you.
I would rather walk to it. I would rather walk to a gas station that doesn't have a fucking gas can than watch this guy.
I think you did that today already.
Don't make me get my Don't make me get my grocery bag, Cora. Do not make me get my grocery bag.
I got one here you can use. The Walmart ones that are delivery are thicker than the ones you get when you go to the store. So it's durability, a thicker bag.
That's longevity.
Yeah, you want the thicker bag.
They'll never find a body. They'll never convict me. I swear to God.
Big farm.
Doesn't make up a story about you being a racist, and nobody will care.
We'll do it the way they do with horses. I'll get in the hole, and then you kill me after I'm in the hole.
There you go.
Easier for you.
Yeah, we'll do it in New Orleans, where apparently nobody cares about dead bodies. It's like murder.
Yeah, cops just die, and cops die, and he was a racist, so we're not going to look into this cop dying for no reason. He just got poisoned out of nowhere. It's cool.
That's some weird voodoo shit, man. It's New Orleans.
Goodness gracious.
Other than Ohio, I'm pretty sure New Orleans is like the most haunted fucking place in this country. Like, good God.
Hey, dude, I've been to New Orleans many times. I love it down there. All the voodoo stuff.
I love it. Yeah.
I dig it, man. It's awesome. Go to New Orleans during Halloween. It is so much fun.
I have a squirrel moment here. So Netflix sends me like browser notifications and text. Thinking of you, I just got a notice on my browser that says America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, and it's going to be a movie about Dallas. And there's a picture of all of them laying in the grass with holding hands with their tits out. So there you go.
They're making a Dallas Cowboy Cheerleader film.
Yeah, we'll take a picture for you.
I've got my night planned, so y'all have fun.
It doesn't actually get released till June 20th, so you got to wait 2 days.
Oh, darn.
They got rid of a certain website in Texas, so yeah, he's gonna have to wait for a minute.
Yeah.
Nothing to watch when you're out of gas on the fucking road. That's a damn shame.
God damn it! I will.
I had
I'm
one.
knocking all y'all out. Frank,
I had one.
you're about to need. Frank's going to have to find some new co-hosts after I get done with my world tour of wiping out people. Because this is going to be ridiculous. So.
But do you know what, Tex? It'll be okay, because if you just would have emptied your truck out, none of this would have happened.
Swear to God.
You guys are
Taking mental notes of all y'all's bullshit. That's what I'm doing.
you guys need to fucking get that shit over with. Anyway.
I've had my fun.
Time to wrap this thing up. There was a little bit of breaking news in the baseball world. Very sad news. The same
no.
kid, Willie Mays has died at the age of 93. He died.
Oh, my.
Man.
As a Giants fan, that one hurts. Willie Mays has been around the ballpark, both Candlestick and Oracle Park, forever. And definitely a sad day in baseball, especially as a Giants.
One of the greats for sure.
Oh yeah.
But that over the shoulder catch in the World Series in the Polo Grounds. Good God, I mean, that was. There hasn't been too many plays in the outfield that good ever. But definitely rest in peace to Willie Mays, one of the great athletes of all times. Come back on Thursday. We'll be here reviewing Godzilla -1. I'm finally getting a chance to sit and watch it for not being able to go see it in theaters. That is on Netflix as well. So Godzilla -1 on Thursday. Come back and check us out to review that. Thanks to my amazing co-host for being so awesome as usual. Down at Chicago Lady Core, where can the folks don't find you, ma'am?
Nowhere. I'm allergic to the internet. So, I'll be here to annoy Tex because that is my lot in life, to humble his Texas ego that's inflated by the humidity that he surrounds himself with and traps himself in walls so the humidity can't escape. So, I'm just happy to be here to do my job.
Into the shape for Little Star State, my man Tex. Where can the folks at home find you, sir?
In Vegas here in a second.
I'm gonna go run out of gas so I can get away from the car and lay myself on. No, I'll be here. I can't wait for Thursday. Everybody go watch Godzilla -1. I talked about it on, that was my honorable mention for when we did our top 5 a few episodes ago. That's an awesome movie. I mean, it's right there on Netflix. It won't cost you anything to watch it. This movie got Godzilla an Oscar, so go check it out. So go see what can be done. They made this movie for like $15 million, and then keep that in mind when you watch like all of the crap that Star Wars and Marvel is putting out and spend 10 times that, and it's going to be half as good as what this movie is. So go watch Godzilla.
You can't say crap in Star Wars in a sentence.
Yeah, you can.
There's a lot
I can. I can say a lot worse. I can say a lot worse. I'm keeping it short. So, all good.
All right.
The Acolyte is not getting a lot of love after that 3rd episode. I still haven't seen it yet. I haven't watched it, but
I haven't either.
I'm just talking about the original movies.
No.
Well, yeah, you can't hold
the holiday special. The Star Wars holiday special is ranked higher than the Acolyte is.
That's actually fair.
I want to
throwing that in there
watch
for
it.
free.
I won't watch it, period. So I shouldn't talk.
it's unfortunate because I've kind of enjoyed the first 2 episodes of the Acolyte. I thought they were decent.
Oh, because
They're not great, but they were decent.
And did you enjoy She-Hulk also?
Oh God, no.
Thank you. At least you can redeem yourself with that answer.
I love Tatiana Maslany in the role. I love her. That show was just awful. There was so much promise. They got me right to the point where I thought it was going to get good. They just never really delivered. It was such an annoyance.
Yep.
Anyway, you will find me back here on Thursday going over Godzilla -1 with the crew. And next month,
top liver?
Yeah, next. Sorry, I thought. Well, you know what? They talk so damn much that sometimes I forget.
Well,
It's all Cora's fault.
You know what I'm going to do from now on? When it comes to Cora and Tex, I'm going to pull the debate thing. I'm just going to start muting them whenever they start to go too long.
Oh no!
Your time has expired, sir.
Like, I'm sorry,
you know what? Being
But
objective, he's not.
Unlike
That's fair. That's fair.
Unlike people who are red, blue people know how to keep track of time in debates. Just saying.
Unless you don't know what day of the week it is. And my
If he's ever awake to know what damn day it is.
Wow.
At least I don't shit myself like our incontinence in chief we currently have right now. But
what do I mean?
There are a few people who say similar.
This is what I mean. Debate. Mute it. Jeremy, talk.
All right. Well, instead of 2 minutes, I'll take like 20 seconds. I'm here Tuesday and Thursday doing whatever we do. I know work's been wild for you, but hey, we still get the show rolling. That's all that matters. Names right here. If you know how the internet works, you figure it out. You're not going to find anything now, so don't be too disappointed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. In the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that.
And you will find me back here on Thursday going over Godzilla -1. Next month is going to be, we're going to start out with a movie that I'm really looking forward to. We're starting out with Quiet Place Day 1. I'm really interested in seeing how that movie is going to turn out. And then after that, it's going to be Deadpool, Twister, Deadpool, Twisters, Deadpool. Yeah. It's going to be all Deadpool and all Twister pretty much all next month. So that's what you can expect from this channel next month. So the rest of this month, we're going to squeeze in some reviews of some stuff that we've been wanting to do. And they moved The Crow back. We were supposed to be doing The Crow this week, I think, the newer one. They pushed that back to August, I think, for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if they were just trying to get get some more edit time, or they didn't want to open against anything else. But yeah,
a little closer to Halloween makes more sense.
They pushed that all the way back into like August. So, but when that comes around, we'll be taking care of that as well. But thanks, my amazing co-host, for being so fantastic as always. Thanks to all of you for coming and hanging out with us. We very much appreciate it. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Till then. And Cora called Dick Daddy. Okay, now you guys can banter on the way.
See, no matter what she says, I still have that Trump card.
Boy, the election stream is going to be off the fucking chain come November.
I'll get my President Loki back out.
Rest in peace, hey kid. You're the GOAT.